Yeah, no, yeah, no. I think when we were talking about in our DMs when we had to be brief, I think it felt like a rush conversation, like we both had some shit to do, but it was about the whole like Kanye sort of situation, and if it is even a situation.
He's just unraveled significantly even since, what was that? We talked like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 days ago. Um, like, what do you mean, like unraveled significantly?
Like he's still, they it came out with, after we talked. That's when he did the thing with TMZ.
Yeah,
Well,
that
then
that
first
looked
he did the
bad.
tweet, and then he did TMZ,
That looked bad, but
right?
that didn't look good for him. He said the whole slave thing, and that kind of just.
And then that guy stepped in and chimed in, and I think that was really brave because I think that like TMZ has this relationship with celebrities where they're, you know, like I was listening to this guy on the morning show here in the Bay, Ray Love, right? Ray Love. And he was like, um, TMZ has a relationship with celebrities where it's like codependent, and they, like, you don't want to like have a bad relationship with them because they're, they both like serve each other in their own ways. But like, he's like, so when, like, that's why there were other people in the office that like weren't coming forward saying anything. um but when, what was the name of the guy that like actually spoke up?
I don't know his name.
Okay, well, anyways, when he said something, he's like, I think that he was saying that because he genuinely cared about Kanye, and he, like, he was just really like coming from the heart, um, and that's why. So he knew that he was potentially risking, like, Kanye could have reacted in any way, and he didn't know how he would react to that, but like, he just like really needed to get that out and say that. So I don't know. I think that a lot of people are just like questioning what's really going on with him, and is he getting the help that he needs? And because a well person doesn't say these things. But I also found it interesting because in the morning show they were saying that like he was like, he's like, rappers love Donald Trump. Like before Donald Trump was president, it was cool to mention Donald Trump like in a rap song, which I guess I didn't really think about, but I guess it makes sense kind of. But I think now that he's president, it's no longer like, it's scary. So how much power he holds, it's not just like, oh, he's on the apprentice, or he has like all these big hotels and whatnot. It's like, oh, like he could do a lot of damage, irreparable damage. So yeah.
So I mean, just off of what you just said previously, when you're talking about the guy from TMZ standing up, and it's like, he was being brave, he was being bold, and he spoke up, and you said that you could tell that he really cared about Ye, right? And I guess my
Yeah, it
question,
didn't look like it looked very in the moment. Like
it
everything,
looks
it looked
sincere.
like he just like came out. Yeah, absolutely.
But my question is that when you said that, it looked like he cared, or to that point, it's like, I think that's what it was. Like he actually cared about it. He said that he said something along the lines that I'm actually hurt. And my question is like why does that guy care about Kanye, and why do people care? And just to like broaden it, I think that is just like, as far as celebrities, I think that we live in like a very um, celebrity honoring culture per se, and that like why do you care?
Why do I care? Or why did he
Why
care?
did he care? Why does anyone care about you
I
know
mean, I don't really. I don't really. I don't know how much I actually would say that I care, but
like, because
I
people,
think
I
he
feel like people
cares
do. I feel
because,
like people do care. Like my question is like,
yeah, I
why
think
do people
so,
care?
because like you see this artist that has created amazing music, and um like music that you enjoy listening to, and you like want him to create more of that, and you want him to be like he needs to be in a good place to do that, and he's just he's really not. um like celebrities is they're people too, and he went through a lot of different things, you know, from his mom to Kim getting almost killed in Paris, to like him feeling like he needed to get liposuction because of society's expectations, and like it's just kind of like sad to like watch that all unfold, because like those are real problems, it's real shit, and like yeah, we may not like have like similar issues exactly like that, like, but I think that we can all relate to the common struggle of like each having our own problems, and just like wanting to uplift people, and for I don't know,
I get
just
that.
a togetherness,
I,
you
I
know?
I like that idea in that, like, because I hadn't heard that from anyone yet. In that, like, it's just like, I guess, a common empathy in that, like, we feel for this
Yeah.
person that, you know, is going through this or had this happen or felt this way, and they just so happen to be a celebrity, right? But then, like, in the same breath, it's like, you know, it's like an empathy, but then like we're the people to tear them down so fast, or like to smear their images, or to like, you know, turn our backs on them, and like, you know, and like, when I say turn my backs on them, like they're anyone to, you know, have their back, you know, to turn my back on. It's just I don't get why people put celebrities where they put them. And I almost made myself a hypocrite when I asked you that question, in that, like, I thought I was thinking, right? And like I feel like when Jay-Z dies, it's gonna really bother me, right? Like, it's gonna bother the shit out of me when Jay-Z dies. It's gonna bother the shit out of me, and I think that I remember me and you going back and forth, because you and I used to argue about you know, the whole Beyonce Lemonade Hove thing, and I was like, man, it's just like media bullshit. Like, just chill. Like, you're like, no, how dare he cheated on her? And I think when it first came out, like on 444, that he was like actually like an infidel or unfaithful, like that's when I remember us going back and forth through text messages, and I was like, yo, I'm so crushed right now, right? I mean, like, it's like, this was the one you were supposed to, you know, that you're supposed to get it right with, and this is, if anybody could, it's this guy. Like, he's smart, he's intelligent, he's, you know, he seems like he's grounded, like he's responsible, all of these things, and like to hear all that come out from a totally different part of his life, you know, to be fair, than what I was, if, you know, viewing or imaging him in. It's like I was kind of like taken back, like, dang, I can't believe he did that. But I think that I think that I can relate to what people feel about Kanye, in that, like, yo, like, maybe, you know, this guy, he's made tracks, or he's made music, or he's said things that have molded my relationships with people, and my career decisions, and my faith and my spirituality. Maybe he said and he's done those things, and it's like, now to see that, it's like, yo, that's, I like, I can't accept you not being who I thought you were.
I don't I don't even know that I would say that. I would just like I haven't like formulated who I expect him to be as a person based off of like what makes me think of him, which is like namely like his music, you know?
I think when you speak about that, like his attitude, or his presentation, that people sometimes are sort of put off by. I recognize I feel like I recognize what's happening, because like I don't care for the hysteria, in that, like, I can just look at, like, I can just look at him as like someone, because outside of, and this is something that I'll hope to correct myself later, you know, circle back on later. But I only care about the rap, right? I only care about the hip
Mhm.
hop. I don't want to. I don't care about Kanye West beyond what he's putting out sonically, right? And even now, like as far as like fashion goes, like some of the things he drops or that he releases are nice sneakers or nice clothes. You know what I'm saying? And are nice visuals. And like outside of that, I don't care who he is or what's going on as far as a person. So like as far as celebrities go, I don't buy into like I don't want to know about Kevin Hart and him cheating and then his wife who's pregnant is like just like why like tell me a joke, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's in the form of a joke, you get me? Like his stand-ups are pretty honest and they're pretty open. That's why you are who you are. That's why I've turned an ear to you, is because of your materials, because of your artistry. Do that and put it but I don't care about the tab. I don't follow LeBron James online. I don't follow D Wade. I don't follow Tom Brady. I don't follow any of these people online. I follow, ESPN, and ESPN will tell me what their stats are, and they'll tell me, what trades are being made or who's advancing or who's been eliminated. That's all I care about in terms of Tom Brady or these people. I don't follow Big Sean. I don't follow Common. I don't follow Ye. I don't follow Jay-Z. I follow Complex Music, and they'll tell me when their albums are releasing or what just got leaked or where I need to go to listen to certain things. Like, these are just people, and they're living their own lives, and I don't know that I care about their life any more than I care about your life. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but you, I feel like it can also cross into a line of, and maybe you don't cross into it, and I'm sure that a lot of people don't because they just don't really care to, but you also feel a sense of like, am I condoning this behavior? Or like, am I supporting it because I'm supporting his or her sales? I'm still like okay with that, and but like I get it. Um, just like keeping the two things separate. Um,
Like separating the
but
artist from the artistry.
I also, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think it's not just black and white. Like when you hear that something. Okay, for example, like my dad, right?
Hmm.
My dad has like taped Charlie Rose, and he's watched Charlie Rose like literally for the last, I don't even know, like however long Charlie Rose has been on the air, because my dad watches like hours of news like every day. And then when all of this came out about like Charlie Rose and all of these, you know, I'm not exactly sure of all of the details, but he got accused of sexual, I don't know, assault advances, whatever. I'm not exactly sure. And then it's like, there's this thing of like, should this person lose their job? Should this person lose their livelihood? Should this person like be allowed to like do anything? Like, should people, like, is that people supporting, like if people still support them and they still want to watch them, then like are they saying that that's okay and that they're just going to turn a blind eye and act like it doesn't matter? Like, is that giving justice to, like if women or men have been assaulted, like is that kind of like, I don't know, is that just saying that you don't care about it? So, yeah, I don't know. There is no right answer to me. Like, separate. Um, it's hard to separate some things because you just look at people differently. And on the flip side, when you know that people are doing really amazing things, when they are, like working with charities, when they're donating money to great causes, when you hear about that, like that makes you like that person more and want to like support them more. Um, so
Yeah, I think that that's where we'll just understand that. Like I think that because I don't have an answer for that either, and I don't think that anyone does, and I'd be interested in
yeah,
it hearing, because like as far as like the NFL, like when they hear, when news comes out or video surfaces of an NFL player, like there's a domestic violence situation or be like that person is
yeah,
gone, you know what I'm saying, and rightfully so.
right.
know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, like, well, that's their home. And I think that there was a coach, an owner of the Clippers. His name was Donald Sterling, and he was caught saying some really like just racially insensitive things and using really crazy verbiage. And Adam Silver, the commissioner, he's like, yeah, you're no longer an owner of an NBA team. And I think that it was a legitimate, because you have African American staff. You have your team is made up of predominantly African American players, and so you know, see you later. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's
Yeah.
just, and that's why I said I'll come back to loop around to where I said that I don't care about these people, Tom Brady, Kevin Hart. J. Cole, Kanye. I don't care about these people's personal lives. Just give me the work. Just give me the thing that I'm here for. The reason I turned to you, for the reason that I knew that I felt a kind of way when I think there was like a news anchor. I don't know if it was like Fox News or some like illegitimate like online news source or something like that. But one of the anchor people or the reporters, she said something to the effects of just shut up and play basketball.
Shut up and dribble the ball. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
something like that. And I was like,
About LeBron.
whoa. And LeBron's response, which I felt was within bounds of him saying, was that, I'm more than just a basketball player. I'm more than just someone who dribbles the ball. And he's just done so much good
Yeah, absolutely.
he's just done so much good for people. And like where he puts his money and his reputation, you've never like seen him like in the news for like, messing around with women or domestic violence or, something
Right.
going on with his kid. He's been spotless his whole career and he's done so much for people. And it's like, I understood that. So at the same time, it's like, that's where I sort of like teeter the lines of being a hypocrite in that, like, maybe when it comes to bad things, I don't care. And when it comes to just tabloids or gossip and things like that, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why do I care? But when it comes to good things, I'm like, oh yeah, man, this person should be, Kaepernick should totally be, what I'm honoring him for is
Yeah.
totally not even like on-field shit. It's like, he should totally be,
Right.
recognized and honored for his actions or his intent, and that has nothing to do with his stats or his production. So I kind of get what you're saying in that, like, that's a hard line to clarify or to draw.
Yeah. There's just I don't there are so many. I feel like as as time goes on, we are going to encounter more and more of these types of situations, and I don't know. It's just difficult to really. I don't know. There's gray area, and you want to uplift the people that do the right things and do good, and you obviously don't want to feel like you're supporting someone that is doing harm to other people. So,
Yeah. And then you have to determine what's really harm and what are people just choosing to subscribe to. Because if you say that Kanye's done
yeah,
harm to people, it's like, okay, tell me, outside of having your feelings hurt, like, tell me, like, where have you been, deprived, or where have you been, abused? And but like, I think what's happening, or what's been happening, is that like we've really just been seeing someone's internal dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I don't know why he chooses to do it, but I respect that. It's something that people, we're in an age where people overshare the fuck anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
we're all guilty of that to some extent. We don't need to post what we ate, or we don't need to post who we're with, or like, our new interest or our new hobby is what we do. But I think we're in an age where people like just super overshare, and like, he's a celebrity that overshares in his internal dialogue. I'm watching this interview with Charlemagne, which I hope you watched because it was so good. I'm watching this
with who?
with Charlemagne.
Oh, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched bits.
But as I'm watching it, right, I'm watching this guy, right? He'll say something and then he'll like backtrack, right? So he'll say something and he'll say something about, um, Nike, and or he'll mention a statement he made about Nike, and the owner or the one of the creative directors, whoever he was referring to, and then he'll backtrack and be like, "Yo, but you know, I you know, I gotta, that I wouldn't be who I am today without this guy. Like he gave me my first sneaker, like, and that opened up everything for me." Or you'll see him say something about Hove or Jay-Z, and he'll be like, "Yo, but you know, maybe he had something going on that I didn't know about, like, and you know,
Right.
that's why he didn't reach out after she got robbed, or maybe that's why he couldn't make it to the wedding." And he'll just make these statements, and then he'll go back on them, and it's like not even like going back on them. He's like reasoning in front of us. So like he posted a tweet following the release of the video, and I only know this because, like I said, I don't follow him on Twitter. I follow these other sources, these like news sources or whatever. But he posted a tweet, and it said, "I made a statement during, you know, the recording of this interview, and I said that I'm the greatest artist of all time." He said I was wrong, and that was really ego driven. That all artists are great. So he's able to check himself and say like, "Yo, I made a really egotistical or ego-driven comment or whatever." And when he back in the day when he called out George Bush, and he said, you know, George Bush doesn't like black people. You remember
Sorry.
like either
I just
after
thought about that.
yeah,
Was it like a call center?
yeah, it was like some
Wasn't
like
it a call
relief
center?
fund. It was like some relief fund for, you know, Katrina, and he said George Bush doesn't like black people. He later said that he apologized to George Bush. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he's just so impulsive, and it's not me excusing anything.
Yeah,
He's just
he's
so
super
impulsive
impulsive.
that
Absolutely,
he's
yeah.
reasoning in front of us. Like he'll say something and then immediately say like, "Yo, I don't know that that was the right thing to say." He'll backtrack. He did that the
He'll
whole
think
interview.
about it after the fact. He'll like think about the repercussions after it's already been done. And
Correct.
then then I feel like he goes into like cleanup mode. But yeah, I totally. It's just like vomit of the mouth. It's just like I've had some students like that. It's just like, oh shit, like probably shouldn't have said that or done that. But you know, like and I don't think that. Yeah, it's impulsive, but like that doesn't mean that they're bad people, or sometimes that's just how some people are wired. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, but no one's typically wired who is on this level of celebrity. I don't think in that like there's always like you have someone who runs your Twitter. You know, now we see it in our president as well, right? Like someone who's impulsive and is, you know, boom, I'm gonna say some shit, and I'll deal with the repercussions of what I said later. But it's like, you know, we I think these people weren't at the highest places of, because we put them there in society as far as being celebrities or whatever, or voting for a president. But not only that, but there wasn't an outlet to where they could do that. There wasn't like a Twitter, or there wasn't
Yeah.
you know, it's just some directly to some Facebook Live or some shit like that. And you know, now we're seeing these personalities, and it's not even like I said, me excusing him. Grow up, like weigh think things through and weigh the consequences of what you're gonna say before you
Right.
say them. But you were a teacher, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you taught what, seventh or eighth grade?
Sixth and eighth.
Sixth and eighth grade. And you had, I remember at one point you had a, like you had two like Instagram accounts or something like that, or you had like one that was private. I don't know what it was, but like I think you remember you telling me that. I never saw two of them, but I remember you telling me that. And I guess my question is like, how far do we have to go as individuals, or is there a responsibility for us to uphold a certain image as far as, you know, what an example or what the representation of a decent individual, you know, like how far do we all have that responsibility, and how far are we responsible?
As a teacher or as a general citizen?
I'm just using the teacher
Because
because like,
teachers are definitely at different standards than general citizens.
okay, well explain it.
Obviously.
I didn't assume that. Like why would you communicate or
Well,
convey
if you
that?
see any teacher, like we're told from the get-go, I mean, all parts of an adult life, whether it be drinking a beer or it be like being in a bikini on vacation, obviously, like whatever you have with your presence online it has to be so that like if this picture were to be posted in your classroom, would that be okay? So that's pretty much the standard that you have to. So it's like I think for the general public, like it's obviously okay to drink and to like go on vacation and to like have party or whatever. But like as a teacher, you can still do that. It just can't be online. It can't be known, I guess, or visible. Just because I don't know. Thinking about it, it seems kind of hey. Thinking about it, it seems kind of like crappy. But it seems kind of crappy that there's a different standard, but it is, and I understand it. So it's just not even, you know. But I think in terms of like a general responsibility as adults, it's that idea of it takes a village, and I'm talking to Brian. Um, he says hi. You sure says hi?
Hey, what's up, man?
Um, it's the idea of it takes a village, and like leading by example is a really big thing that I think that all people should do. Like just even when you're out in public, just carrying yourself in a way that like if you saw kids acting exactly like you, what would you think of that? Because they're really impressionable, and they're looking at the behaviors around them and picking out which ones they want to identify with and have themselves. And yeah, so pretty much like just don't be a jerk.
Or at least like don't be a jerk in public, or put it online, or post it. I mean, because that's what we're saying, right? Because what I want, I mean, did that change
Well,
the?
no, but I mean, in I guess so, but
Because did all of that change the way you? Because I mean, I'm sure you still lived your life and you drank, right? And you wore bikinis, and I'm sure you still did what you wanted to do. I'm sure you still lived your life. I'm sure you
yeah,
still had a great time. But it's
yeah.
just
Okay, in
like
that sense, sure.
I
Like
got
I don't think that drinking or like going on vacation or putting on a bikini makes you a bad person. I think if you're like out in public and you're just like either like cussing up a storm or like screaming at someone or just like being rude in general, I don't think that's okay like on in any place or time.
because you wouldn't want kids or others to do that, correct?
Yeah, because like that's just I don't know, it's just ratchet. Like I'm just not about that.
Gotcha. I mean, and I'm asking because and that was pretty. I received that really well, in that like I there was a lot of insight in that, because like there's always been, as far as like for me, there's always been like the weight of, I don't know where the fuck it came from. Like I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying the word fuck on on my own shit, right? And that like. I've never been a teacher. I have been a teacher in different senses, but
Right.
and I have served, the youth and kids and things like that. But like even beyond that, like now that I don't even do that anymore, like I always like, have friends that I respect, that I completely respect, and that I completely value their opinion, and they'll say things, and they'll communicate to me, okay, that thing you did publicly, or that thing you said, or that thing you posted, it was wrong, and you can't do that. And I'm like, what? And they're like,
What? Like what?
I, I'm totally gonna edit this part out.
I think that there's a time and place for everything. And like, if I'm meeting someone I don't know well, and like, I just don't think that's appropriate to like, start cussing up a storm. I would just feel like really not okay with that. Um, so that's what I expect too of my students. I just don't think that they should do that because you're not going to do that in a work setting. And like I shouldn't hear it because like we're not friends, like I'm your teacher. um so like you wouldn't want to hear your boss. Maybe some bosses would be okay with it, I guess, depending on like what you do. But I think like a general rule of thumb would just be like trying to keep the profanity low
So,
or non-existent,
so
wherever you are.
it's not what you do or don't do. It's what you do in front of others.
Say that again.
It's not about when we're talking about setting an example, or you know, having a reputation or whatever, and all these things. It's not about what you actually do and don't do. It's what you do or don't do publicly or privately.
Yeah, I guess.
I
I
could,
guess so. I think that there's some things that would be difficult to like just like easily group into the two things you just said. But I think generally speaking, I'm really trying to think about what you said and make sure that um so if you're basically saying that it would just matter that the biggest concern is outward appearances and like not like what you do in the comfort of your own home kind of thing.
yeah. So it's not so much about, because I could be a womanizer. I could be, I could be super vain and spend money on things frivolously. I could be, all of these things. I could use profanity all the time. But when it comes to, I have the responsibility as a decent individual and as an adult to not convey that to everyone. I have to clean it up so that no one does those things that I do. I mean, I think first of all, I think that's
Well,
I
but you
think
should also like strive for that like within
exactly,
yourself. If you have
exactly.
some pretty big personal flaws, then I think that's something you should consider. It shouldn't like solely be like a concern for your outward appearances. Like you should care also about like, you
Exactly.
know, how you are as a person.
And even when I was saying that, it didn't feel right because I think that like a certain amount of humility, would suggest that I know that I don't care about these things in myself or to care to be this kind
Yeah.
of person, and so it would kind of naturally prevent me from that humility would kind of, or that caution would kind of prevent me from portraying myself in that way anyway. So that I guess that
Yeah.
was just ill word that be there, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's one of those things that's also like a fuzzy line because, I don't think that you and I care to stop cursing or whatever. I don't think that you and I care to stop using profanity. I think that we're just saying that we have to be more responsible about where we use profane language or where we communicate what type of relationships we have with people, or where we, that. And it's like
Yeah.
for somebody who believes in privacy and intimacy, like most of the things that we think or feel or the way we choose to, operate, like it's not even anyone's business. And I think that that's where my good example might come from, is that in that, like, I don't know.
I think if you're good to other people and you're good to yourself and like it all comes together, and sure there are going to be different things that like different weaknesses that you wish you could be better at or do better with, but it's all one big process and like constantly improving and reflection and um yeah, like if you're acting in a certain way that you're happy with, then hopefully that translates over to like you being a good citizen out in public, so that when the youth are looking up to you, that's a like it's a desirable person that you're presenting.
Correct. And I think that that's as good as, I don't think I could have even worded it that well. That, who you are or who you hope to be, um, in end, I guess the in an ideal situation, that individual or that person is consistent with a good person or a good citizen or a good example.
Yeah, for sure.